What is up, my loose juice fam? What are we? The squeezers? I don't know. Howdy. I know it's been a little bit of time, about a month since I put out a video, and the last thing you heard from me is that it's going to hell.
Hell yeah!
Well, we did go to Hell, Michigan. We camped. We had fun. Not all of us made it to Hell, Michigan. I don't want to get too into the weeds, too sad, nothing about that, but Aaron, nothing at random, was trying to leave to go to Hell to meet up with all of us weirdos that were there at the campsite, and he got hit and he broke his leg, and yeah, he's still recovering from that, so wish him continued speedy recovery. So I will tell you today, which is July 12th, I think, this is the first time I have actually ridden a fucking motorcycle since I parked my Road King coming back from that trip. And this is the first time I've ridden the Grom since the March Forgotten Angels camp out. I do not ride this Grom enough, and I love this little bike. I know it doesn't do well in terms of viewership. You all just do not seem to like the Grom content. You like my Road King. Which is fine. I don't mind. I just like the Grom. And it's actually going to be, I think, the topic of today's video. We were in the Whiskey Chaser Discord. If you haven't done so already, go give Whiskey Chaser a follow, a like, a subscribe, whatever you want to call it. I find it hard to believe that there'd be people that are subscribed to me and not subscribed to him, but you know, in the rare chance that that's the case, go give him a subscribe. And then if you like his content, join his Patreon, which would get you access to his Discord. We are in there all the time having conversations, chatting it up. One of the topics that came up, well, really, how this happened was we have an entire thread in there called Marketplace Finds, which is typically Facebook Marketplace Finds. And it was for, I think, like a 2016 Grom. It had like 10,000 miles on it, but it had a massive list of like stage 4 and up type upgrades to a Grom. And the dude was selling it for like $4 grand OBO. So I think most of us, you know, realize that the MSRP for a Grom is about $3,500. There might be $3,600 for the 2024s. I don't know, 2025s. Regardless, I don't know. I want to really flesh through, like, is it 100% crazy to list a modded out bike, particularly a Grom, because that'll be the focus of today's video, but particularly a Grom? Do mod bikes, you know, you get more for them on the secondhand market than you would if you just returned it to complete bone stock? I don't know. That's the question I'm posing today. Obviously, I'm a little biased towards a modded Grom. I'm not sure that I'm biased towards 4K for a bike that's got 10,000 miles and it's already 8 years old. I mean, even with some of the performance upgrades the dude was talking about, and if I can find the listing, maybe I'll share what all was in it for you can, if you're curious. But you know, as a modded Grom owner, I can tell you the mods for these, like, it adds up really quick. The base price of the bike is super cheap, and if you want a stock Grom, it's not that crazy, not that unaffordable. So try to do a little bit of back and forth with the boys. I think they all think I'm fucking crazy that I would entertain the thought that you could sell a Grom, a modified Grom, on the marketplace for at or slightly above MSRP of the bike when it was new. So I'm kind of torn. Because I do believe, like, if you had like my bike, if I was gonna sell my bike right now, I've got a number in my head and it's pretty darn close to what it was new, but I also haven't done a crazy amount of stuff to this bike. The main things that I think would add value to this bike would be for one, intake, the Chimera intake. Two, having an aftermarket slip-on. It's a Vance & Hines, which is not cheap. I got gifted it though, that doesn't matter, but it adds value to the bike, right? If you want the sound. And then the third most important thing that I did to this bike that I believe adds true value was the DHM, right on the tank, DHM standalone ECU that's tuned, like it reflashes the ECU, which allegedly, according to their dyno numbers, takes it from 9 horsepower to, I believe, 14 horsepower. Whether or not you agree with that, I can tell you the seat of the pants feel of this bike, it was very noticeable. And it wasn't just a sound, this bike is peppier. And I've ridden stock Grom and stock form, I've ridden this bike in stock form. It made a huge difference. And that, I bought an actual separate ECU from them, so that was closer to 300 bucks. And to me, that was a huge value add for this bike. And it's a 2023, it's got 634 miles on it. I don't ride this thing, obviously. But outside of those three things, oh, I did, I guess the other important thing I did with, it's more like, just makes it a little bit better for me because I'm a heavier guy, but I put in a heavier clutch spring set, and there's a special billet lifter plate you've got to upgrade to when you want to do this sort of stuff. So do you have to do that? No. Speaking of do you have to do it, no type mods, what about, I've also got, even though I don't stunt, I really don't do wheelies, I did install the Grom oil pump, which takes some of the fear factor out of doing wheelies. If I borrowed this, or if somebody borrowed this bike and was doing wheelies on it, it's got an extended tube to the sump, to sump the oil, to move the oil around if you're doing nooners, which, like I said, I don't do it. I had some thought of maybe doing it at some point. That was 80 bucks. But if you're a stunt guy looking to maybe buy a used Grom on the second-hand market, if I've already installed heavier duty clutch spring and the Grom oil pump, I think that adds value. I don't know. Again, do you think this type of stuff makes a difference in the used market? I think it does, but I'm biased. So is there a perfect answer of like how to price point a used Grom? No. But my point that we discussed in chat was that, hello, Mr. Policeman. I think there is a buyer out there for people that, like, if you're looking for a bike that has a lot of the mods that I've got, or a lot of the mods that people do to these bikes, why wouldn't you just buy a used one for close to MSRP that has a lot of the stuff done to it that you'd want to do? I don't think, then it's like, well, yeah, if you want to pay 3,500 bucks and it has the oil pump, air intake, exhaust, ECU tune, it sort of, to me, sounds a lot less crazy to go, yep, I'm gonna ask for like 3,500 firm for that. Why not? Especially mileage based. This motor's like really not even broken in. I have done an oil change on it, but I wouldn't factor that into the selling cost of it. It's maintenance, for Christ's sake. Let me know what you think. It's a Friday afternoon. This is probably like the worst time to go out riding, and it's also like the hottest part of the day. But I knew I owed you guys some content. I feel bad. Not been making stuff, not been riding. You know, part of that is just a mental side of that. You know, my very close friend Aaron going down pretty bad. I don't know. It affected me. I won't deny that. Like I said, I've parked the Road King essentially, and I need to do some work on that. I think I'm going to convert it back to the stock air cleaner, because I just throwing a couple codes, and it seems like that air filter, because I don't have it tuned for it, maybe causing some hiccups. I don't know. Kind of sick and tired of that bike always braking on trips, because that's what it did. It was stuttering and sputtering and all kinds of bullshit. I did just clean the air filter on this thing. It was pretty dirty. I think I picked up about a horsepower doing that. So if you've got high flow like K&N air filters on your shit, make sure you clean that stuff, especially if you ride around dirty, sandy, dusty areas, because yeah, taking the most, I would say probably half of the miles on this bike, if not more, are from going laps and laps and laps around the Forgotten Angels property, and that's dusty. We've still got the dust on it from going there. It's a Honda. You don't have to clean it, you just ride it. Remember that. The other thing that I wanted to address, and I think I may have mentioned it before on this channel, but I know I've talked about it in a different Discord. I think it was probably the Shade Tree Discord. There's somebody else in there like, oh, I could never ride a Grom. I'm a bigger guy. Like, brother, I know it's hard to tell on the camera sometimes because it's not pointing at me. But I'm 6'5", well over 300 pounds at this point, which, you know, I'm not proud of, but I'm just, as a matter of fact, I'm telling you, this bike it'll haul you around just fine. But like I said, you gotta, there's a couple upgrades to make it do that a little better. Obviously the heavy duty clutch springs is big difference there. But yeah, like just doing stage 1 on this bike will get you moving. But this bike, honestly, even with my big ass on it and only making 14 horsepower allegedly, I get up to 45, like just about the same as normal traffic. So anybody who says, you know, they're dumb, they're slow, they're dangerous, yeah, you're not taking this thing on the highway. I don't recommend it for county highway roads of like speed limit 50 or 55 and above. But anything less than that, why the fuck not? It's fun. It's a head turner. People like a Grom. Man, it feels good by the lake today. Like I said, it's like in the mid 80s, I think, low to mid 80s. The guy gave me the wave. Don't you know I'm a brother? Just because I'm on a Grom doesn't mean I'm not a brother. I swear my other bike is a Harley Davidson. There is a stigma about this. Really pretty much any big cruiser bikes. You know, I'm gonna pick on Harley, but it's not just Harley. But dude, cut the other riders some slack, bro. I want a Honda, I'm telling you. If I get Goldwing money, you guys will know. I'll get a fucking Goldwing. Ain't nothing wrong with them. So yeah, I think I've said all I wanted to say about the Grom thing, but like I said, put it down below what your thoughts are. I am in agreement with most people that people on Marketplace are wild, and they'll put up a number for an aftermarket modded bike that is just out of this world. But when my exception is, I think when you've got niche markets like Groms, probably Boosas, there's Boosa boys, Gixxer bros, although Gixxer bros usually broke. People that want to spend money on shit will do it. That's my point. I'm sticking to it. But y'all, stay sane with your selling prices on shit. Life on two wheels is good. I'm gonna go about enjoying the rest of my day here. Y'all, keep it juice. I just wrapped up the video, but I just remembered something I wanted to talk about. Another not really fun topic, but we did lose another good friend in our community. Father, an amazing guy. I don't know how to describe him. I don't think I ever got to meet JD and Queens in person, but he unfortunately did pass away on the 28th of June, I believe. I know they're having a service today, and I know Rainy Ryder was heading down there, but I absolutely wish Ashley and the kids well, and the rest of his family. Josh was a really great guy, always brought a positive energy to all of our Weirdos Assembled podcasts and just online discussion. He was always there in chats, the video premiere chats, so he will be sorely missed. Definitely left a hole in our community.